What's up, guys? Welcome to the Colecast. My name is Francis, and I am here with Gnome Hammer Forge, our good buddy Ryan, longtime friend of the brand. Also, just completely off topic, I've thought about doing the introduction and kind of adding a little spice to it, to Blade show we did, how do you build a chili dog, right? And then we actually, I Googled it, and I was correct. It does have mustard and onions on it.
Oh, I would not know that. I don't eat chili dogs.
Chili dogs have mustard and onion on them. But I thought about doing like a fun fact at the beginning of every single one. Okay. So if we were to do this one, it'd be like, what's up, guys? My name is Francis, and I was deathly afraid of the dark until momentarily ago. You know, like something like that. Okay. But then I was like, that's super cheesy. So
I don't even know what I would do.
Yeah, like what would your intro be as like a fun fact? Like mine would be, I was probably afraid of the dark until I was like 13 or 14, and it was like a light bulb moment where I was like, this is stupid. Why am I afraid of the dark?
Okay. So, I am Ryan Brueck, and I am definitely afraid of heights.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, terrified. Like, no.
So we're putting up 16-foot pallet racking today. You would not want to help us with that later on?
Nope. I don't even like going up a 4-foot ladder. That's pretty. I'm only 5'6", so that's not very high.
5'6", you wear it well.
I wear it
because I think.
What do you put your camera low?
Gage is like 5'5" or 5'4", and I would have guessed you were a solid 5 or 6 inches taller than him. I would put you closer to Josh, and I think Josh is like 5'10".
It's all about the posture.
Yeah. What we realized recently in the shop was that I make fun of everybody for being short because I'm too tall. Everybody in the shop is slightly tall. We make fun of Josh so much for being short.
I was going to say,
he's 5'9". He's average height.
He's not short.
Like almost all of us in the shop are like relatively tall. We have 3 short people that work for us, but they're just normal height. So.
I know, I feel like a tiny person coming here.
Yeah. Well, it's that corn-fed Indiana.
Yeah, you know.
We get to grow through the winter.
How much corn is out here on the way here. I was like, man, I thought Michigan had a lot of corn.
No, your guys' farms have like every farmer I talk to in Michigan had like multiple crops.
Yeah, and our farmers have like, I don't know, 15 crops, and they're all in like, they're all within like 15 miles. Right, so you have to drive there. It's so annoying. You go back roads, you're following a tractor to their next plot somewhere. Takes forever.
I talked to a guy up in last time we were in Michigan, and he was talking about farming, and I was like, oh yeah, like I grew up around it. My grandpa's a farmer. Nathan, my best friend, has a hobby farm, and I was like, what do you grow? And he was like, you don't have time. It was grapes, cucumbers, jalapenos, tomatoes,
I had 14 different crops.
Yeah, and then he was like, and of those, I have 3 different heirloom varieties of a couple of them, and like just dude, it was like so wild.
I have a place down there, like 3 minutes down the road from my house, and they have grapevines and all kinds of stuff. Ooh, close. That's close. All kinds of stuff, and then they have what do they call it? I think it's a terrible name for it. They call it the pot stop.
Sure,
but it's crock pot cooked meals. I'm like, oh, you guys should probably change this because I feel like they get a lot of customers for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Because they're always packed.
But I bet it's delicious.
Dude, they make chilies and just stews and chili dogs, and they have all kinds of stuff there. And it's so, dude, I live way out in the woods. So they are out in the middle of nowhere with this thriving business. And it's like, who are your customers?
Yeah.
There's always people there, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's probably the same people, like the
all the time. It's always it's like regulars at the heart.
I can
it's
go
like
buy one at $9 for lunch instead of going home to get my own. You know,
it's like the old men at the hardware store. Right when they open, they're all sitting there drinking coffee.
I used to work at an Arby's that was right next to a Ace Hardware. So they would genuinely
get their
come
coffee
in
from Arby's and then go over to the hardware.
You would be out cleaning the tables and you'd hear, well, it's about 9 o'clock.
Hardware's open.
Yep.
Ace is about open.
What do you do every day in a hardware store? Every day.
I don't know. I mean, I could probably keep myself entertained in a hardware store for pretty long, but not, I don't know.
And if you've got like 4 or 5 buddies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're just picking stuff up. Yeah, that ain't where it used to be.
My hardware store, they don't even go into the aisles or anything. They just sit at a table that is literally set up for them to
that's
sit there
cool.
and drink coffee. So they just hang out. It's like their hangout spot.
That's something we don't have in society today. Like you watch old movies and there's like old men outside the diner playing checkers and playing cards. And you have to assume that was part of like normal society because it's in every movie ever, you know, and we don't have that anymore.
I've never seen that.
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel.
I've never seen anybody playing chess outside of Cracker Barrel.
Not outside. Me and my brother used to play checkers every time we went to Cracker Barrel. We would sit there until our food got there. We'd checker it out, man.
At your table?
No.
Oh, okay.
They don't have checkers at the
Yeah,
table.
they've got the...
They got the little...
What's it called?
Barrels.
Chinese dominoes? Is that what it's called?
Chinese dominoes?
That feels...
Chinese checkers?
No, it's the pin game on their tables. Where you have to move the pins.
I don't remember what that's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think
we used to play that game all the time too.
That game's fun.
And wasn't it a pyramid? And you tried to get rid of. You only had to get one peg.
Yeah, it's like there's blue and red, and then like
Peg solitaire.
Yeah, peg solitaire.
That's it. You can only jump.
Well, I just canceled
You had to
myself.
jump over
calling it
pegs to get rid of them.
Chinese. Can't do that.
Can't do that, man.
Right. Well, we've blabbered long enough. We brought Ryan up into the podcast because Ryan brought himself here.
Yes.
Do you prefer Ryan or Gnome? I've always called you Gnome, and
Either
then
one.
I found out your
Doesn't
name
matter
was
to me.
Ryan.
Doesn't matter to me. I don't really project my name out there that much, so most people just call me No.
Can we just bleep his name every time we say it?
Every Ryan.
Every single Ryan is just a bleep. We did that for when we talked about the Power Hammer on an episode before we released it.
I remember. I watch them all.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's a good time.
I mostly watch for you.
Oh.
You remind me of my dad, not looks wise, but
good.
your demeanor and the way you interact with people.
Okay.
Reminds me of my dad. It's
He's a good
comforting.
man?
Yeah, it's comforting.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my dad's an awesome dude. My dad works so freaking hard, man. He is the hardest worker I know. So
We might
it's
have the
definitely
same
a
dad.
compliment. Oh, maybe.
I
maybe.
look exactly like my dad, though. So if I don't look like your dad.
Probably not. Probably not. No,
Yeah.
no. My brother looks exactly like my dad.
My dad just had kidney
look
surgery.
like my mom.
So shout out my dad for kidney stuff.
Oh yeah, did he make a good recovery?
He won't
I
answer
don't
my
know.
text.
Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah, he won't. I'll text him and be like, "How you feeling?" No response. None.
Cool, maybe.
So, but
the
I feel like
surgery didn't
somebody
go
would have
well.
told me if something was wrong. You know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would hope.
My family dynamic's wild.
Did anyone tell Francis?
Yeah, we just
I think.
as long as as long as we show up to Thanksgiving, everybody's cool. Like we're good. That's our once a year check in.
Dude,
So anyway, sorry, hitting
Hopefully, I find.
the bump. Ryan came out to use one of our 60 tons.
yes.
He's trying to get a hands-on feel, and we are able to take the power hammer to places. We're able to take different stuff everywhere, but at some point, there's only so much 220, and we have to prioritize things.
Mm-hmm.
So moving forward, we're probably going to continue taking the power hammer places, and then focusing on
That's awesome in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one you need to get the most feedback on. I think.
Yeah, it's still in prototype.
Not that
phase.
it needs it. Not saying it that way.
It does.
Just
That's the-
as far as a way to get feedback. That's the best way. Is taking it everywhere.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do is get everybody to tell us if I were to buy a hammer, this is what I would expect out of it. This is what you're missing, because I think we talked about it last time. We're 90% there, and if we do that 10% and we're missing out on one major big, great feedback piece, then we've invested a lot of money in something people can't
especially
use.
getting it in the hands or under
the
foot
hands
of someone who really knows their way around power hammers.
Right.
is-
Chris,
I mean, you
Kurt,
can't-
Steve at
dude,
Moonshine.
Quad State. I was just watching people use it. I was like, oh my god, this is great. Just watching everybody use it, like it's such a monumental moment for
It's cool.
coal
yeah.
iron and
it's
just
cool.
the
Even
community.
people that don't forge have reached out and been like, "This is cool just for manufacturing."
Yeah, dude,
Just
for real.
was there a random from you, Evan?
No, that was
Oh, you did one loud that got like real loud. Oh wow, I'm really impressed by your abilities.
I am a very projective person.
Okay, yeah. So Ryan is up here forging on the 60, doing some testing for himself, and is going to give us feedback on what he likes, what he doesn't like. And we thought now's a good time to have you on the podcast. A 12-ton owner, a 16-ton owner, and a potential 60-ton owner.
Not potential. I'll be a 60-ton owner. I will be the first.
The first 60-ton
Oh, sorry.
owner.
The first. Number one. 60-ton owner.
So is there something specifically that caught your eye about blacksmithing?
I don't know. Honestly, when I was 15, it interested me.
Many moons ago.
I saw it. Yes. I am 32. I'll be 32 in like 10 days.
Old man gnome over here.
Yeah, right.
Old
Whiten the
man
beard. Look at you, old
gnome.
man. But anyways, when I was 15, I started I showed interest, I guess, but it was never really something. I was really into bands as well. Like I played drums for 20 years, so I was really into that. So I just kept with that path. I was like, I'm just going to be a musician.
What kind of music did you play?
Metal.
Metal.
Drums.
Okay.
Yep.
There are so many. This could be a whole podcast by itself.
It could be, but
the amount of blacksmiths that I have met
that started out as musicians.
There's been a couple that I've been like, oh, I used to, tour with bands. I was the tour manager guy. I never played in bands, but I'd be like, oh yeah, I toured this band. I played with him. When did you tour with them? And it turned out like we were at the same show together. There's been a couple like that.
Dude, it's crazy.
It's wild.
That's inaccurate, Francis. You did play with bands.
You played with bands?
Yeah, he's been recorded into an album.
What
eternally?
Album?
Why don't you share that?
You were recording
a song?
Like vocally, or he's like, don't bring that up.
A song.
I'm so confused.
Was that a dog?
Yeah,
because
There's a dog here.
I've done a few things with like gang vocals and that's Zeba. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to meet that.
I've done a few things with gang vocals and stuff though, but I've also done a lot. I grew up in the church, so there's
Choir.
a lot of bad recordings of me probably floating around that people have posted of their children and
whatnot.
Yeah, so whatever you're doing, I'm genuinely confused by.
Don't look for it. Anyways, so I was.
So you were in bands.
I was in bands, and as probably most blacksmith musicians, ex-musicians, I spent 20 years trying to do it. Found out I should probably find something different because it's not working. And then I had my son. That took up a good 5 years of basically just working for my dad, which I still work for him. I do part-time office work for them. But so I did that, and then once my son got a little older, I met my wife. I was like, man, I really want to try this. So I think 2020.
I like that you looked over like there was going to be a calendar that we have posted. Gnome started.
Yeah. My
April
time,
13th, 2000.
You didn't know right behind that was my timeline? I think 2020-ish is when COVID.
Okay.
Midst of COVID, I was like, fuck, I'm sitting here doing nothing anyways. Right. I mean, I was still working. Like, I worked in an office by myself, so I could still go to work.
You set things on fire in the office.
No, they don't like that. They might not like that too much. Because there's a garage there that never gets used, so I have toiled with it. Like, hey, when I'm not busy here, could I just go out there and like get my orders done? Nah.
No.
But I did. I used to, when I first got my first forge, it was crappy.
Beaver?
Simmon.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Even worse than Beaver.
Really?
Like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is like 18 gauge, just an oval bent piece of sheet metal with some KO wool inside, and then 2 burners shoved in the top. It's like,
at least it's 2 burner.
Right. So I did that, and I made a few things. Like, I didn't even make a few things. I hammered on some stuff, and I was like, all right. I found out right away I needed to make a good hammer. Either buy one, and then I was like, oh man, prices of hammers are expensive for a custom made hammer.
Sure.
So like, screw it, I'm gonna do it myself. Made a hammer eye punch out of a ball peen. Punched my first. Oh, it's in the truck. I have my first hammer eye. I still carry it with me everywhere. I put it in the truck though, so it wouldn't fall in my pocket.
Sure.
And I carry that every day still, and it's from my drifting hammer that I still use every day.
The punch or
the slug.
The slug
out of my first hammer I punched. I still carry every day. Yeah, it's kind of sentimental. So
Sure, yeah,
because
I get that.
honestly, I punched that first die and I was like, "Yep, this is what I'm doing. I don't care about any other form of blacksmithing. I'm making hammers, and I've dedicated the past 3 years to pumping them."
So we love you, knife makers. We love you.
Yes,
but
this was my first.
good to have-
when
good to
I
have a
punched
tool
that
maker
first
on.
hammer, I was like, you know what? There's a million knife makers. I'll just make
Right.
tools for them because I don't really like to compete with all these stuff.
Bennett said it the best, or Benton Frizzy said it the best. He said, "There's all kinds of wonderful knife makers,
Yeah.
and I don't need to muddy those waters."
Well, and I'll give them props because stock's too thick. Dude, that's my first hammer I ever punched. Yep. On that crappy little Harbor Freight anvil. That was all I had. I had that.
I'm actually, honestly, like very impressed by them.
I
have a couple buddies that have them.
That's the old one.
That's not the new one that they did, like,
bad
last
one.
year?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the cast iron. That's the ductile iron. The one that you shouldn't use.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that was my first actual hammer. Like my first forging hammer. And then that one was just, I resurfaced from a Harbor Freight hammer. That was the one. I actually turned it into a top tool.
Oh,
made
cool.
It made it a top fuller. But yeah, that was really what started it all, was that first punch.
So that's what sunk you in. That's what like grabbed your gears. There
Yeah,
was
dude.
never a moment.
Yep.
Where,
And then from then, it was constant, how do I make this faster, more efficient? Like, I started from when I punched that first die, it took me like a week to figure out, I want to produce hammers. I want to be a production shop. I don't want to just make one hammer. Because, for one, I do not like, it makes me feel really slimy, I guess, would be a good, because I think it's a big part is my OCD, is I don't like to price things super high. Like, I just don't feel right doing it that high, because I know it doesn't take that much to make my hammers, at least my hammers. I don't know what everyone else pays for steel and stuff. I know I have a great steel price.
You do?
I found out from you.
Yeah.
I didn't even know I had such a good steel price until then. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll wait the 10 days for it to get cut.
Yeah.
Because I was like, ooh, I'm kind of in a crunch. I need stock. And then I was like, ooh, maybe I should just wait.
Yeah.
And that's what really kind of said, I like to pride myself on that $100 price point. So that's like, if you go to my website, my hammers are all starting at $100, because I'm a production shop. I'm not just a guy making hammers. Like, this is what I aspire to be, is straight production work. Yeah, there's my website. Yeah. And then, my monthly tool waffle.
that orange handle, that update.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Nigel, man. Nigel
Beautiful.
won that one. Yeah, that was a good one.
Beautiful.
I love that acid stonewash finish on those. It's
Nathan commented on that when
takes
Nigel won it.
Too much time to make for $100.
Sure.
Like, I have it on my website as an option. Like, all the different finishes are options. They just are additional cost, because, for one, the grind time. I have to
Right.
grind every surface of the hammer to do those finishes, so it's a lot of grind time.
So you don't do customs, or if somebody?
Oh, I do. I'll do a custom. Just, like, right now, I have on the website, like, right at the top of the available product sheet, like my current order log, and I update that every time I get an order, because otherwise, I can tell people a lead time. Yep, 72. I can tell people a lead time.
That's impressive.
But then if I don't meet it, I get like a million messages say, "Where's my hammer?
Right.
Why hasn't it shipped? I want a refund." Whatever, dude. I'll refund you. I can sell it to someone else. It's not. I have too much work to be setting a time, so I'm
Sure.
like, here's the number. Look, this is my order log. This is how long you'll wait. I don't know how long it'll take.
Yeah, we've gone through
hammers,
phases
but
like that too, where we've had people that are like, "Hey, what's the lead time on a press?" And it's right now it's 3 days, but also, if you don't order today, I think that's a problem too, where people will make contact with you, say, "Hey, what's your lead time on a hammer?" You say, "Right now it's about 2 weeks." And they say, "Okay." And then 3 months later they buy a hammer and they don't realize that you've massively taken on, so the information isn't current. So I think that's a good idea to not do
car
lead
insurance
times.
and then get mad because you signed up a year later and it's a different price.
Right. Yeah. Or shipping prices. Shipping prices fluctuate.
Oh, shipping is terrible, man.
Hey guys, if you're buying a press, get shipping quotes, try to buy the press between noon and 3. I have no statistical evidence, but I feel like in my gut, when we're doing shipping, I get the best prices between noon and 3.
No kidding.
They will fluctuate that bad from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Seems weird.
It'll $150 on a $500 shipping. It'll float around.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think they just do it based on how fast the truck is filling up. But I have I have no insight.
Yeah,
none.
I have just noticed patterns.
Yeah, I oversee the guy that runs shipping. Like that's it. That's my connection.
Yep.
So, all right. So you're making hammers. You're making production quantity levels.
Yes. Which, if anyone wants a hammer style produced, I'm your guy. I am open to more production jobs. Right now, I'm doing Brian House's $100 hammer, which
is that on his?
I am the original $100 hammer. Just so you are clear, Brian House. Nah, I love Brian. We talk every day, and it's been a phenomenal. Yes, I need one of his shirts.
Yeah, should have gone to Blade Show,
dude. It's been next year.
Cool.
I'll be there with a bunch of hammers. I'm hoping to bring like 100, but we'll see how busy I actually am.
That honestly is probably a good idea to go down there because a lot of those guys don't want to bother making hammers. They want to make knives.
Yeah, exactly. John Norwood, Old Hickory, he sells out pretty much every year. He sells out at Blade Show. So he's really the only one doing it. Well, healthy. There's nothing wrong with healthy competition.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That was the whole thing. Brian, like me and Brian talking, he's always like, "Man, we're gonna piss so many hammer makers off." It's business, baby.
Yeah.
Well,
what it does, especially if you're doing a line of hammers, they'll reach out to Brian and say, "Hey, I want that hammer, but I want it in 3 3/4 instead of 4 pounds or 3.5." And then he'll say, "Sorry, we don't do that." And that person will then have to go and find.
Yeah, and he'll direct people to me that want outside of the, at least I hope, outside of the spec range that we do, because I don't think we plan on doing different weights. 2.5 is kind of the sweet spot for an everyday driver for most people.
Yeah.
I mean, I use a 4-pound, but I make hammers, so you kind of need a heavier hammer.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you don't really, though. I used to use a 2.5-pounder all day. My new, there it is, the house hammer. Yeah, dude. Getting a lot of feedback on it, too, which I love, because usually I don't get much feedback.
Yeah.
But a lot of that is Brian, because we've been collaborating on all these videos, so I get a bunch of views from his following because he has 80,000 or whatever.
And he has such a cross-platform. It's not just people that forge. Dude, he has such an engineering and business. And
I've got so many people messaging me about these hammers and if we're going to do different styles and all that, which he did say on his podcast today, the episode that came out today, that we are going to do different styles. I think the dog head's going to be next.
Cool.
But
that podcast is Work For It.
Yes, Work For It podcast.
Work For It
I should have said that.
It's a great podcast.
Yes, it is. Dude, I listen to it religiously. Like, I listened when I found out about it, and I found out about it, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago.
Okay.
I found out about
Go to the timeline. Remember, we have the timeline posted behind Evan?
Yes. 3-4 months ago.
Okay. Yeah.
It was probably longer than that. But I started listening to it. Actually, Keith from Blackthorn Concepts and also Working Hands podcast, he told me to listen to it. And at the time, I thought I didn't think much of Housemade. Like, they were a grinder company. And I was like, okay, I'll listen to it. And I'm a person that once I start a podcast, I go to the very beginning.
Yeah, I want to hear from episode 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Which, I don't know if you've listened to Work For It, episode 1, but it is much different than what it is now. So it's fun to listen to the progression of the show. And I love the whole concept of business in the workspace, because that's what I do. So it caters right to what I'm doing. I'm trying to get myself out there, and at one episode they talked about how you should like post 3 times a day at least once, and ever since then I try to post. Like, it's been, because I'm very routine based with my OCD, so I make it a point to try to get one out before 6 o'clock in the morning, and then
so people are having midday, a cup of coffee
and
with you.
Midday and afternoon. Well, and I start work at 4 a.m. so I'm in the forge at 4, so I get most of my content shot before 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Like pretty much all of my daily content is shot before 6. And then like all the stuff you see is not pre-planned. It's all day of. Like if you see it, I was doing it that day. I don't post stuff from yesterday because I don't have the bandwidth to schedule ahead.
Sure.
Apparently.
Yeah. We need to tell you about the later app.
Dude, I have a good routine right now, and I just don't
screw it up.
Well, I don't know. I am all about, because I used to have very not as great reels until I got into Brueck. Told me Splice to try that, and so now I make all my reels with that, and it's been.
We need,
in
to
my
get
opinion,
you,
they look way better than they
David's
used
old
to.
iPhone that has that. What's that app called that they don't make anymore? Oh man, the
It's
app.
called Oh Man.
No,
that sounds like a good
it's
one.
a video editing app. What is it?
CapCut.
CapCut. That sounds right.
Yep.
They don't. It's not on the store anymore though. So like,
No, it's GoPro Quick.
okay.
Oh,
Sure.
Yeah.
dude, I don't like GoPro Quick. I have it, and I don't like it.
Well, don't delete it because you can't get it back.
I know. I haven't deleted it. I just don't like it. Like,
Okay.
I don't like my because I have a GoPro, and I've tried doing stuff with that, and it takes forever.
I
It
don't
is
like
the-
GoPros.
Dude, it is the longest upload process and editing process I have ever gone through. I'm like, oh my God, it made me go back to my phone. I was like, whatever, my phone does a great job. I'm not doing this anymore, because it was the longest process to get it to upload. And that may be because I live out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
But I'm like, good Lord, man.
You gotta do a couple little dances around it.
No,
Appease the
like
spirits.
you straight up set it up and it takes 4 hours to upload the footage.
yeah, for sure.
Like, it's like, no way. I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah. We sold GoPros for a little bit at my last job, and all of them I had my store broken into overnight twice, and that's the only way I could get rid of them. Nobody goes.
People stole them.
People stole them overnight. Nobody would buy them.
Great.
No, and that was it. Was like, dude, these shoot amazing video, but like, nothing else works on them.
For real.
Is what everybody would tell me.
Like, the video is fantastic, but
Weren't they like the
everything else,
first camera with 4K?
Yeah, but everything else is terrible. Every other experience of GoPro is not fun.
We're in an era of technology where whatever camera you have on your phone would probably be $1,500, $2,000
Yeah.
to buy by itself, and it's in your
real.
phone just kind of for free.
It's just there. That's what I'm
So-
saying. My phone is.
Just use your phone.
I have like the.
I would argue
think I have
against
the-
that, but we don't have the time.
No, actually, I would too, because my camera takes much better photos, but it doesn't have video capability. So I can't shoot video with it, and that's
I'm also
big
like,
bummer.
I have the worst vision.
Oh,
So
do you need
1080p is like,
Do you need better glasses?
no, this is like as good as it gets, brother.
No, I'm
honestly,
basically blind.
when I went and got my eyes checked the last time, my vision improved, which is weird
Huh.
because I'm 33 years old.
Yeah, you'd think
it would be
declining.
but nope. I think it's all that rich sugar and fast food diet that I existed on
high-
for so long. High
That
is
high glucose.
Yeah.
A high glucose.
So you're posting. Sorry to get back on track. You're posting 3 times a day. We're seeing what you're doing in real time, essentially, maybe 3 or 4 hours later, but it's day of. What are some of the responses that you've seen from having bad reels to now having good, scheduled, more structured social media?
I don't know if. I definitely get more like followers and views, I guess. I try not to. I don't really have the time to pay attention to it anymore. I used to pay attention to it a lot.
Yeah.
Like a year ago or so, I was deep into like why isn't anything going? Like, why isn't anything working?
Yeah,
And-
appeasing the algorithm.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to post. And really, that's what change is. I just started posting whatever, the stuff that I like, which I've always done that. I've always posted what I like, but I tried to appease the algorithm, used to. Now I just post what I'm doing.
Sure.
Because honestly, I don't have the time or bandwidth anymore to think of a trendy video and stuff. I'm like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get as much stuff out there as possible. So that's really the best way to get exposure is just pump out content.
Yeah, I was thinking about it earlier today. When I was checking on the computer. I have Instagram on our computer, and I've deleted Instagram for probably a while. In the 4 days it's been since I deleted it, I am
Why'd you
so much
delete your
happier.
Instagram?
Because if
Francis.
there was a 2-minute downtime, I was on Instagram. If I was
okay. So it's
sitting
more-
at dinner with, my girlfriend and there's, she mentioned a couple weeks ago, she said, you're on your phone a lot. And I was like, yeah, I just fade out. That's how I kind of like recess.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it again and, that's probably not healthy.
Yeah.
So instead of doing that, I've switched that time to, I love Wikipedia. I don't know if anybody else is I love Wikipedia. So I read. I have so much knowledge on just things that don't matter.
But you don't even know if they're true or not.
And I don't know if they're true or not.
That is the best part of Wiki is you have no clue if you're reading factual information.
Reading books, stuff like that. But that's why I got off Instagram is because I was tired of just getting sucked into pictures that you don't even read the context. You're just like, oh, you're eating a cheeseburger. Cool. But the context could be, this is the last cheeseburger that I ate, and it's like this big emotional thing. And so you're still, it's like people are like, oh, well, social media keeps us connected. No, it doesn't.
No,
it doesn't.
I mean, I see social media as a great way for me to progress my business.
Sure.
And to make the connections I need for my business. And I mean, honestly, when I bought my 12-ton, Nigel was the first person to follow me, and he reached out to me, and he was like, hey, man, I work at Coal Iron and stuff. And I was like, oh, dude, that's sweet. And I told my wife even, I was like, someone from Coal Iron, started talking to me. That's fucking sweet. And now it's funny. Now Nigel texts me, and he's getting into the hammers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting into hammer making and stuff. And I see the obsession starting, and I'm like, oh,
his baby, his child, who doesn't have a name, it's just the baby.
The baby
is old enough now that he can spend a little bit more time in the forge.
I told him that wait until they start school. When they start school, things drastically change. You get so much more time because they are gone for 6 hours at least a day. So you get as long as, well, that depends if you work a day job or not.
Right.
Like me, I have to wake up at 4, then I get the kids ready at 7, get them ready for school, get them on the bus, go to my office job from 9 to 1, and then I'm back in the shop until 4 when they get off the bus.
So you've got it set up to
then
where
it's family time.
Yeah, you're not interrupting time with your family.
Well, like I said,
to do this.
Well,
that's pretty
that's
sweet
because
setup.
I push myself to work around when the family time is needed. So
yeah, it shows priorities, right? You get a lot of people that are like, "Oh, it's good to have. I got to go in and put my kids to bed and stuff," and that's fine. I'm not. Everybody gets to choose their own priorities and pick their own life. I'm not, but you don't hear a lot of people that make that extra step to wake up early.
Yeah,
they say, I want to get in the forge at 4 a.m. because I have to work at 9 and my kids need to be on the bus by 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Well, the best thing I've heard is if you want to be the best, you wake up an hour earlier than everyone else. So that's why I wake up at 4 a.m. every day for the past 3 years.
Though.
Dude, your body gets used to it. I was sleepy as hell the first time, too. My body got used to it, though. It only takes like a month.
A month? I've been doing this for a year and a half. I've never had a set
schedule.
Depends on
how routine-based your body and brain chemistry are. Like, I'm very routine-based, so once I actually stick to something, it's kind of embedded. That I have a harder time doing things outside of my routine because it's not something I can pre-perceive or plan. Like, events are nothing but anxiety for me because nothing is I have no control. Yeah. And that's with my OCD, that's like I have pretty bad OCD, so it gets heavy and that affects my hammers. That's a big reason why I'm getting into the DPC is so that I can appease that OCD a little more by making things even more symmetrical than I already do.
Sure.
And so that'll be nice.
Yeah, I've never had a set schedule in my entire life. I came up through food and retail, and then one of the things that flipped me over was for 7 years Nathan was like, dude, we work 7 to 5. We work 7 to 5. We work 7 to 5. And when I came here, I realized I was like, there's times where I work till 6 or 7 or even 8. Maybe I feel like this is turning into The Office though. Like, is it 10? That's quite possible. 11? I could see it happening, you know, like
see that.
But
That's a real possibility.
I never really had a set schedule, and then I came here and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And I fall asleep at 9:30 now. If it hits 9:45 and I'm still on my couch,
I'm dead.
I'm like, Francis, what are we doing here? But I still, for the life of me, cannot wake up to my first alarm. I have alarm.
No, see, what I do is I set my alarm on the opposite side of the room.
That's what I have
to get out of bed.
Does yours blink too? Because mine blinks.
No, I don't do that.
Oh.
Sorry, my bad. I don't do that stuff. Bleep that, Evan, if you can.
Yeah, I got you.
During post.
We're just going to make a lot of racket so that when he's editing, he's reminded.
Scratch this out. But when I do, like when I just have it set up on the other side of the room, and it just forces me to get up. And then if I find myself not waking up, I change the alarm sound.
That's a big one that I did learn.
The alarm sound is different. Yep, because
I did learn that.
I've noticed that times when I get too used to my alarm, it'll go on in my dream. Mm-hmm. It'll be in my dream, but it'll be messed up.
Also,
there was one dream. I was getting I had do you know who Dr. Acula is? Okay. So
Yes.
I had this was when I was maybe
You could not have paid
18.
me when I was 15, 16 years old to say, hey, in 20 years, you're going to have a podcast and Dr. Acula is going to get brought up. Dude, you could not
Oh my
pay
God.
Me. You know they're a
Hold on.
band again?
Piano lessons can be murdered.
Yes, piano
That
lessons
was
can
the
be
song.
murdered.
So that song, yeah, don't make it so my ears blow off because I'm pretty sure it gets heavy.
It does, yeah.
I love this quote.
All out of bubblegum.
So this, like mid-song, just this would be my ringtone, my alarm.
Yeah.
And I had a dream. I was being chased by vampires. Like weird, not just, Black Cloak Dracula vampires, like some messed up, like they're all deformed vampires. Okay. And every time they shrieked, it would be Dr. Acula. So that was what I was hearing. I'd be looking back and they'd be like, I was like, oh my God. And then I woke up and my alarm's going off. I was like, oh, thank God. It was the worst, but I was like, oh my God, I should never have Dr. Acula as my ringtone again.
I thought that I was getting used to my ringtone, and I totally was. That turned out to be the secondary problem. Also, check the ring volume on your phone.
Yeah.
Because your alarm, at least for my phone, was connected to the ring volume. Mm-hmm. So I'd wake up, 20 minutes after, and I'm like, why is this still why didn't I wake up? And then like 6 months, literally like 6 months later, I had to turn my phone up for something. And the next morning I woke up the moment it went off and I was like, oh my God, has my phone been on quiet mode for
It's been on silent for 6 months?
6 months? Yeah. Like who turns their phone on and off vibrate and then checks the volume? Like, I feel like that's just nerd stuff if you check your phone for that. I'm not a nerd.
Not a nerd.
Not an electronics
I'm a farm
doctor.
bred boy,
Yeah.
baby.
I'm beefy.
Ain't no nerd, I'm beefy, buddy.
So you've got. Let's talk about production hammers. A lot of the people that we've had on they do either customs or they make whatever they want. They sell one-offs. I don't think we've talked to anybody about some of the nuances of doing production level stuff, which we run into a lot.
It's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, well, it's a lot.
It's a lot of money to get set up for production.
Well, you know what blows my mind is when I first came, the idea of like just buy it cheap and then store it and sell it as it sells made a lot of sense. But now this idea of like storage infrastructure costing you money and just something sitting on the shelf is wasting money. I didn't disavow, like, it's not like I was like, no, it's not real. But it was like, well, there's got to be a point to it, right? Like, there's got to be a point where you can buy something cheap enough for that to make sense. And there is, if you have all of the space in the world, which we do not. Every single day, we are outgrowing. I mean, I'm putting up 16 foot.
I'm kind of scared that I'm going to outgrow that new shop too quick.
Yeah.
That new shop, because
it's real.
Half of it's going to be set up for makerspace and like stations for classes, so it's going to be
and with infrastructure comes cost. So even with a great pricing on your steel, you might have to start buying bars, which means that you're going to have to get a saw to be able to cut your own billets.
I don't know, man. they don't even charge me for cutting fees.
Dude, listen, this is not.
My steel is so cheap. I pay. I don't want to say how much I pay.
Let's not do
get
that.
into the logistics,
But let's plug them because we did check their prices and they are very good.
Dude,
so if you're in Michigan,
Peerless Steel. How is it? Because actually, I passed Alro on the way here too.
Yeah.
How did your quote come out good?
we're still saving money with Alro.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
For sure. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they didn't have any distribution near us.
Yeah. Peerless.
But they
I think they are in Troy and then Granville.
They do you very well. They do you very well.
Yeah.
So if you're in Michigan and you need
I also pick
tool
up
steel,
though, so
he does
I make
pick
the
up.
hour drive to pick up because honestly, I think they'd only charge me $20 to ship it though. Dude, they're
I don't like making money. I just love selling steel.
I considered selling billets once I found out that I was like, that's a bunch of shipping I'd have to do and stuff. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, shipping is not worth your time.
No. Well,
Unless you're-
if these, which I already know they probably will, this first 50 batch of house hammers, that's going to be a whole day of just packing hammers to ship.
Yeah,
because I'm shipping them all.
There's a
I'm not going
minimum
to ship them to
quantity.
Brian because that would cost way too much.
Oh,
We'd
yeah.
never be able to keep the $100 hammer because I'd have to make a crate for all these hammers and it would cost too much. So he's just going to send me the labels as they sell and then I slap them on package, send them out.
Cool.
Because the way I do it, I pay like $8 to ship a hammer because I don't put it in a box. I put it in bubble wrap envelope, the bubble mailers.
Yeah.
And they
came in beautiful.
Hold on.
Came in beautiful when Nigel.
Yeah, dude, they don't break. I usually double wrap them because those large padded envelope mailers you can get for free.
Yeah.
You get them for free and you can order them. They will let you order 25 packs of 10 or 25 packs.
I think you're right.
Or no, 30. They'll give you a 30 cap so you can order 30 packs of 10. So I have 300. I order once a month. I just order 300 of them. I probably have 1,200 mailers in my shop. Just because I usually either double or triple wrap them. I'll wrap the handle in it, put it in, wrap it again, put it in another bag because it's they're all free. So
Why not?
yeah.
I laugh
And it
when I saw
ensures
that.
them not, except I have to figure out a new method because apparently it made the dye sweat. So it got that orange dye was on Nigel's hand because that package, I didn't put a layer in between, so it made it sweat, that bubble wrap. The longest reveal ever.
The longest reveal, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was sweating in the pack because all that bubble wrap being direct contact, I think it just got all humid in there. I was like, just rub it with some steel wool
Yeah.
and re-oil
Or just
it.
deal with it. Why do you
Deal
need
with
your
it,
hands to
Nigel.
be clean?
Your hands are going to get
I've seen his hands.
blacksmithing.
Yeah.
Your hands are going to get dirty.
Yeah, so I mean, along with all of
Unless you wear gloves.
all of the things that no, don't wear gloves. The illusion of
I
safety.
wear I go through so many gloves.
Right.
Not forging. I don't forge with gloves.
Okay,
That's a
okay.
dumb decision. Mainly,
I won't say dumb. I'll leave
I
it
won't
up to the
say dumb
individual,
because
but I don't like it.
that really depends on what you're using because some stuff just radiates too much heat.
Sure.
But
And you can't
as
throw
far
it off.
as far as I made a hook for my forge. Yeah, I wear a lot of those style gloves just for layout work,
Hitman
grinding
gloves.
grinding. Yeah, exactly. Tattoo.
You need
the gloves your tattoo artist has. That's
You need to take somebody out real quick.
Yep.
We got ones in the paint booth now that have a grippy texture on them.
I don't like those. I've tried them.
They feel weird.
I don't care for them.
But
I
also
can't get
they
over.
keep their grippy.
I'm a very. That's the problem though. I find I can never find a pair of gloves that actually fit. My fingers are too short. So those grippy ones, they slide. So when I grip something, my hand slides before I actually pick it up, and I'm like, nah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have short little fingers.
Yeah. It's good
you wanna-
for direct compression on the
Yes.
handle. I think it's scientifically proven
I have a
short
tighter
fingers. Short fingers are good for blacksmithing. So what are some of the
Scientifically proven.
scientific just now?
Just now.
now.
I proved it.
Dr. Brueck proved it today.
Yeah. Dr. Nomenclature.
Dr. So what are some of the things that you run into that are different from obviously keeping things that all look the same when you're making your hammers and an aligned, or not aligned, but there's less variance, right? Where if like I'm making a hammer right now for a buddy, and if I draw the face too far away from the cheeks, still works, still a hammer. But when you're doing that in a production setting, you can't really do that. So what are some of the things that you're running into that have kind of switched in a production setting?
I think a lot of it is just repetition, like getting practice in with and figuring out your dies. Like I've spent so much money on custom dies to make my hammers look the way they do. And that's really the biggest thing. You're going to get a ton of marks if you don't have the proper dies. Like if you just try to pull stuff, because that's what I used to do, is I just tried to pull stuff off with whatever I had. And then I started figuring out what I wanted and making, and then ordering, like having someone make the custom dies. Because I use Wahlberg Forged, and he's great. He's great he's great on pricing. Like he gets me what I need pretty much. And I always have some funky stuff. Like if you see, I don't know if you pull it up, Evan, but
it's producer Evan.
Producer Evan. It's one of the most recent reels I did with, I was drifting the house-made hammers. Like those dies, you should have seen the video I sent Brian. Yeah. You should have seen the video I sent Brian figuring out those dies. I had 4 different dies all teetering inside the press and like was working like that. I was like, all right, well, this is how I'm going to prove the concept. I might kill myself here on this press.
What's the benefit of the round on the front instead of having a flat?
That is actually meant for final, for when I already have the fullered face. Okay. It just so happens that it works just fine. It makes a little indent, but I'm going to fuller that anyway, so it really doesn't make any difference as far as the actual forging process. But the...
oh, nice bibs.
Dude, those bibs...
We match.
Dude, actually, mine are Amazon Essentials.
Oh, mine are secondhand.
Guess how much I paid for those?
$15.
$17. Pretty close, though.
Yeah, because I've shopped them.
Insulated.
I've shopped them,
Insulated bibs. I've had them for 2 years now. Greatest bibs I've ever had.
These I got on eBay.
There you go.
The guy had them listed for like $150 or something. Hipsters. They're buying used Carhartts.
True.
So I messaged him.
Buying used Carhartts.
Yeah, I messaged him and I was like, hey man, $40. And he was like, yep, got it.
I bet.
Hit the pay button. It was in the mail like an hour later.
That's crazy. I bet I can make a mint off my jean jacket. It's got so much like coal dust and
I made a joke to either Evan or Logan
into it
yesterday. I was like, I need to sell these for like, $150 or whatever and just buy new ones.
Dude, I think that jacket was like $100. I could probably sell it for $200.
Yeah.
It's very dirty.
Yep. People love it, dude. I don't
know what it
understand
is. I don't get it.
Or like you'll go to a thrift shop and they'll have like a shirt with like holes around the neck and it's obviously been worn and it's like $190 and they're like, it's the Made in America. This graphic was a misprint and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, that's a shirt from the 90s that was sold at Kmart. How is that $200?
I had that when I was 8.
Yeah. American Thunder. Do you remember American Thunder?
Yes.
I was like, oh, dude, I loved those shirts as a kid. I went and looked them up. They're super expensive now. I don't remember the exact number, but they're crazy expensive now.
Because they're vintage.
I just wanted the freaking eagle riding a Harley with lightning in the back and like an American flag.
One of the most patriotic biker shirt available.
I unironically love super cheesy like Americana patriotic. The plate I sent you, the first text I ever sent you was I own a plate that I saw on an infomercial.
Oh, and
it's a picture of me holding this plate that there's an infomercial on in the TV in the background.
That was such a random text. That was a great intro text, though.
Yeah, I need you to know I unironically love America, Americana, and patriotism.
That's great.
What we stand for. Yeah, dude. Does that say follow nobody?
Yeah.
Dude, that's so hard.
That's great. How much is that
so
shirt?
hard.
$219.
Yeah. And that's probably like, you know how easy it is to rip those off. The cougar
it's probably
in the
screen
top.
Printed.
The cougar in the top, I had that shirt.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that one I had. There's another one with like three panthers. I had one with a cowboy on it. Dude, you could go to like county fairs, and the
dude,
table
they would
would
have
be
a
full
bunch
of
of them.
Yeah, the table would be full of them. They
I
were like
remember
$15.
the local rodeo had tons of them.
Mm-hmm.
Every time there was a booth with a bunch of shirts.
Dude, bring back affordable American-made
Whoever
T-shirts.
screen print.
Let's be
I don't
real.
know, how much does it cost?
I'm
to get?
putting one on spot right now on our website.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
It's so expensive
How
to
much
get.
What
Like,
would it cost to make that?
would it cost?
Like to make new versions?
For us, since we're not the ones printing them, when we buy them, I would reckon that would be close to $30 for us to buy.
Yep.
Because it's got so much print on it.
I mean, but what do people sell shirts for now? $50? Like,
I mean,
shirts
that's
are
an expensive shirt. That's an expensive shirt. But it's not
You're
like
talking
outlandish.
about people who buy just clothing.
Yeah.
You're not talking about someone who's going to wear it in the shop. You're just talking about a regular person.
Yeah.
They spend way too much money on clothing.
Oh, I know. That's the background I come from.
Dude, I don't mine too. My mom buys so much
Yeah.
clothes. And I'm
Oh
like,
no, that was my
expensive
job.
clothes.
My job. I sold.
Oh, that
clothing
too.
for
Yeah, I did
a
retail
long
for a
time.
little bit. Like
Yeah.
that was my starting. Then I went to cooking. Then I went to electrical work.
Mm-hmm.
Worked in the field for a while. Then I did the office work. Now I'm here.
That's
I'm where
it.
I'm at.
I mean, that's a respectable
Yeah.
rise to power.
Yeah. I get why knife guys make knives. Like, because when I was a chef, like a sharp knife was important and a good knife was important.
Sure.
Because, like, you'd get a lot of people who come in with, like, the multicolor. Is that from Meyer? The, what is it?
Oh, the
Vaporware?
where
Or
the
whatever
the green is supposed to be for vegetables and the red is
where
for
they're
meat.
color coded.
Yeah, yeah.
And you would be like, dude, come on, get
Like,
out of here.
Yeah, and the blade would be white so that you could tell if it was dirty.
I actually used to sharpen kitchen knives for the place that I worked at. It was a gluten-free restaurant, and and she, I worked the breakfast. I was the onny one that cooked in the morning,
Are
so I did
eggs
all the
gluten-free?
breakfast. Dude, they only did egg whites, and I don't even think I made like quiches and stuff, like all kinds of weird stuff, and they would always have me. They would either steal my knives, which I would have to like go find them because they would hide my knives around the kitchen. And I'd be like, come on, man. So I'd have to go find them. And then eventually they were just like, well, yours are always sharp. I was like, yeah, because I sharpen them. I don't just use them and hope they're going to stay that way. Buy a new knife when it's dull.
It's called routine maintenance, and now I understand
so
your
they
lifestyle.
they were like, well, can you sharpen ours? Yeah. It takes me like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So I used to do that a lot.
We got a knife sharpener at Arby's, and it was like one of those little quick.
Yep.
You do the first slot, and then you do the second slot, and that was like revolutionary to cutting tomatoes.
Man.
You know,
Every knife guy out there is like, oh my God, I can't believe they're talking about this.
yeah, they're endorsing that.
You used a two-step
Listen, once
This
again,
like Faberware and have a shavings catcher on it too.
I love knife makers. I love my friends that make knives. I give them a healthy amount of crap, but also
Dude, I give them tons of props.
I'm currently
I could never do it.
buying a knife from our welder because he likes making
Jeff,
knives.
I traded Jeff a tiny power hammer for 2 knives.
Yep.
I didn't build the power hammer, so
So-
I was like, I can't sell it to you, but I will trade you for it.
as much as I make fun of people that make knives, when I need knives, I am supporting you.
Yeah.
So I currently am carrying this little guy, and I'm replacing it with something Josh is making.
Dude, I saw that clipped in when I watched the episode yesterday. I saw that clipped and I was like, I wonder if it's the same knife I have. That's all I carry.
It's a free gift.
Yep.
It's a free gift. And if I break it, who cares?
Yeah.
I'll just get another one next month or next week whenever we have a Uline order. You know?
Oh, do they just give you one with the Uline?
Oh yeah, you get to pick out your free gift.
Ooh,
This is not. This is Josh. He's our welder.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He.
Which I think he's getting a hammer from me. I think.
maybe.
I think. I
should
can't
be.
remember if he ordered one or not. But
Come
if
to-
he wants one, he needs to get on the list.
Yeah, you better square it
It's
up.
getting a little
Square up payment.
long.
Yeah, 72 is the current
72.
count. The current
mean,
count.
50 of them are just going to drop all at once. So, I mean,
Oh, that's fair.
That includes my house order. So.
Okay. Well, why not?
But still, I
Why
mean,
not
I got
beef up the
20.
numbers?
I got 22 after that. So, I mean, that's still not a short list.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
Roughly.
pretty sure that list is going to turn into like 122 because Brian's going to want
more.
a bunch more right after. Yeah.
Well, and if it sells, it sells. Why wouldn't you?
So I told Brian, I was like, dude, just give me like 8 days lead time for steel, and I can get as many billets as you want.
Yeah.
So I had ordered 100, knowing he wanted 50. I was like, I'll just order 100 just so I have extra, because I knew I had like Maritime, because I'm going to start having my hammers stocked on Maritime Knife Supply.
Cool.
So if anyone in Canada wants one of my hammers, Maritime
Why'd you
will
say
have them.
Canada like that?
Because Canada, baby.
Canada.
In Canada. Because it's not here, so Canada. Canada.
Yeah. There's a lot of good Canadian makers. We have a press. I believe he has a press. I'm gonna butcher this.
You're going to put your foot in your mouth.
Yeah, and then he's gonna come back that like he
Why'd
sold
you
our
say
press
that like
5
that?
years ago. But I think his name is Front Porch. Front Step?
Front Step Forge?
Front Step Forge.
Front Porch?
Well,
I
okay.
always think of Front Porch Step.
Yeah, there's a band called Front Porch Step, and that's why I always
Yep.
I can't remember if it's Front Porch or Front Step.
Yep.
But
So similar.
we have Colton. Just got, I can't remember his forge name, but he just got a double-sided up to
Like
Canada.
Little Colton? Or, no.
Colton,
Or-
I don't want to say his last name, just in case
Yeah,
he's...
don't- no.
But he's up in Canada. He sent us videos of him running the press, says he absolutely loves it. We've got a bunch of makers up in Canada. So if you guys need a hand hammer to go with your press,
Maritime Knife Supply.
Maritime Knife Supply.
They also stock front steps.
Do
Hammers.
they?
Yep. They stock his. Someone else, too. There's another. Maybe it's Ethan Hardy. Maybe.
That makes sense.
It's another Canadian maker. I
Okay.
know. He's got 2 Canadian makers, but he was like, they're always out of stock. So
Yeah.
he asked me if I could do it. Mainly
they're
because he saw
always
my price. He saw that I
Wasting
sell
their
them for
time
$100.
doing demos and
Yep.
teaching.
Oh, is that it?
This is the only hammer I could find.
Oh, does he even not have the other ones on there? I mean, they might not be listed because they're
Oh,
sold out.
wait. There was a show wall. There we go.
Yeah. So he's got, that's front step right there. And then, is that Lepew? Lepau?
Something like that.
Something.
I took German, which is even
I took French.
very-
it did not take.
grammar makes sense in German. It does not in French.
Yeah,
So I have no idea.
I took French, but it didn't take very well.
Well, you're close enough to Canada. You need to speak French.
No. It was something different than Spanish that was offered at our school. That's
fair.
It was the first year. They were like, okay, so we're going to offer French this year. I was like, yeah. And then it did not go well. So they're like, well, we're going to do a French 2 just so you don't have to take 2 years of Spanish.
Oh, sure,
So
yeah, so you
it
get your
turned into
honors,
that
yeah.
just so we didn't have to start over at year 1. And then they got rid of French.
Yeah.
We had 8 people in that class for the
8?
second one. For
How many
French 2.
people did you graduate with?
Did
you go to a big school, little school?
I had the biggest graduating class ever at Holden, and we had 96 people graduate. Small school.
I went from a school where I think they graduated like 60. In my freshman year,
So
I
even
transferred
smaller.
to Anderson, who graduated like 400.
Yeah, that's like.
And there were 2 high schools
That's
that
like
did
Reese
that.
Puffer. They're like 15 minutes down the road, but they have like thousands.
Yeah, it was
They
such
have like
a shock.
400 per class.
I
It's
knew
like, oh.
everybody in every grade, like plus 3 years, minus 3 years. I
Yeah.
knew everybody. And then I go to a school where not only do I not know anybody because I'm new, but then, there's 1,200
yeah,
people in my
there's a-
school.
Just insane amount.
Yeah. So what's on the horizon? You said you're going to be making more hammers for Brian,
Yep.
making hammers for Maritime. What else do you have coming up besides a brand spanking new 60-ton Coal Iron Works Forge
man.
and Press?
That's going to be the best part. That's going to be the best. Oh, I'm going to pump so much content too. Because I'm setting that baby up in the middle so I can just film around
town
360.
square.
I don't care where my camera is. It's
Yeah.
getting shots.
There we go.
But so yeah, I'm moving into that new shop. I'll be slowly stocking it to have 5 individual forging stations so that when I do, because I don't want to teach classes. I don't like teaching. My OCD makes me want to just do the work for you. I don't have a very easy time just letting people mess up or
Sure.
anything. So I would much rather, I'm going to rent the space out as maker space to local people, the 5 spots. Don't touch my side. Like, don't come on my side of the shop. That's production stuff, so don't touch it.
Yeah.
Because if something messes up and I can't do my production work, someone's paying for it. But
Wow.
Wow, way to go, wallet.
Live
Falling
and
out
on
of
the
pocket.
air. Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm going to do the 5 stations so that I can bring other people in to teach classes, like do some Damascus or even welding, grinding, like just all kinds of classes. Anything that has to go with the smithing, but there'll only be 5 spots per class, so everyone has their own station. No one has to share equipment. Eventually, I'll be getting presses for all those stations as well. Like I plan on having presses.
Oh, I know a guy.
Presses, grinders, anvils, swage blocks, like anything you could need for any type of class, I want to have at every station so that no one has to share a single thing. Because the classes that I've taken in the past, you're constantly waiting on someone. Like you're always waiting to use equipment, and I don't. It's like, nah, why do that? Why not just let everyone?
We have
then
the opposite
instructor
problem.
can just go station to station and get a lot more hands-on and intensive class. And I want to have them like do some of them be a week long and build some guest cabins behind the shop because I have 5 acres of woods. So I'm gonna tear down some trees, which I've already tore down the trees. But yeah, build some cabins back there so that people can actually stay on the property and not have to go the 15-minute drive to the hotel.
Okay.
So because that's how it'll start is people have to get a hotel room, but. Shortly after that, I want to get those built so that people at least have a spot to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to be bougie, but they're going to be it's better than tent camp.
Like a 10 by 10.
Yeah. It's just
like
literally going to have a bed and, some place to store your stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to be small, but
Cook eggs on the heater.
Yep. And then we'll have I'm going to build a pavilion off the back that'll have like a fire pit and more of a hangout area for after class and stuff. So make it kind of more of a community thing. And then I want to start bringing the Michigan Blacksmith Association. I want to start getting them to have meetings at my shop rather than the 6-hour drive. One, dude, those 2 meetings I went to, I drove 4 or more hours.
Sure.
To sit there and listen to old men talk.
Oh.
They didn't even forge. I was like,
That's
Dude.
That's how the IBA, when me and Nathan started going, it was like you would go, and we make jokes about this all the time. You would get there at 9. You were lucky if the guy running the meeting was there. About 10:30, somebody would come in with donuts. From 11 to 11:30, somebody would explain what they were going to do. They'd show you in 5 minutes, and then they would just leave the forge on if you wanted to forge. And that was such a cool environment because if you didn't want to do what they were doing, it wasn't a class
open
setting.
forge set.
Yeah,
and that's what I kind of want to do is I just want to maybe have one demonstrator set up to do like just that, show like a process, and then just have all the forges running and have people just make something.
Our IBA meeting that we did, I really liked the setup because it was just when people showed up, forges were hot.
Yep. Ready
Do whatever you want.
Yep.
We have, 7 stations, Evan? 7 stations, 7 different machines, a full grinding room, utility hammer, soon to be
just set
power
up down
hammer
there.
in the school, saws, cutoff wheels, anything that you can imagine. Whatever your shop won't allow you to do, come do it with us.
Yeah, exactly.
And have fun.
That's exactly what I want to provide for my area.
And we have the IBA has meetings all over Indiana, and Indiana's not small, which neither is Michigan.
No.
Yeah, so you just drove through both.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same feeling of like we wanted to get our area represented again because all of the meetings were kind of
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's all on the east side of the state. Like all the meetings are on the east side, so it's kind of like just not practical for me to go. Plus, they don't half the time they're not doing anything. So it's like, why did I drive 4 hours to come here or 6 hours to come here for nothing? Like it was a longer drive than to get to here, and I didn't even do anything.
I went through.
It took me 4 hours.
When we went up to Detroit, I went up and hooked around through Ohio for some reason. That's the route that it took me. Was instead of going straight up 69.
Yeah, dude,
they like
weird.
hooked me around.
I feel like GPSs are weird because Nigel and stuff, they'll tell me take this route. My GPS doesn't even know that route exists.
Yeah,
it's like,
well, there's when you come over tonight, there's a bridge out, so I'm gonna have to give you some backwoods directions.
Okay, sounds good.
But they're easy. It's like follow the road until you feel like you're not supposed to, and then keep following it,
and then keep going. If you feel like you are getting sketched out, just keep driving.
Yeah.
You're almost
You'll
there.
hit a small town with one Mexican restaurant. That's me. That's where I live.
What, do you live in Alexandria?
No, I live in Middletown. How have you heard about Alexandria?
I drove through there.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's true.
And
Yeah.
Nigel told me. I said, driving through Alexandria right now. He said, ew.
Stop it. That's where I grew up. I grew up in LA.
Yeah, he said that you grew up there.
That's you probably drove by my childhood.
I just
home.
said, LOL, I'm just telling you where I'm at, man.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I know. Francis grew up there.
Man, they're good people there. They're good
Yeah.
people. That's where Kelly Axe started.
Who?
Kelly
Oh,
Axe.
okay. Yeah.
So everybody has grinding wheels in their front
a
yard.
literal person, like a girl named Kelly. So I was like,
yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, Kelly. My mom's name is
that a
Kelly.
music act?
So, no, everybody has grinding wheels in their front yard, and they have no idea the history behind them. And I think they just think it's normal to have grinding wheels in their front yard across America.
It's like I saw someone post, I think it was a few months ago, but someone posted a power hammer was someone's mailbox. I couldn't believe it. Mechanical Fairbanks power hammer, the one with the hole in the frame. Oop, the one with the hole in the frame. That's where they had the mailbox
power hammer.
That's where they had the mailbox. I was like, oh my, are you? And
All right.
it was fully put together. Dies were still on it and everything. I was like, dude, you could take that thing and plug it in and run it.
Yeah, people have no idea.
Not plug it in, obviously, but
Well, I'm getting the wrap it up. We've gone too far.
what was that?
Evan's mad at us.
I don't know. My timeline says a lot more.
Oh, yeah. Gnome's timeline says different. We're going to wrap it up.
My timeline says it's time to turn on the 62.
We're gonna go down, have some fun. Is there anything else besides your up and coming? Keep an eye out for his school, for Production Hammers. What else? Is there anything you want the world to know?
If you want me to make your style hammer, if you designed a hammer, you want me to make it, I'll make it, no problem. We can work on bulk pricing. Yep. Nah, don't go there. Just directly to Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of me. My website is for orders only. I don't pay attention to it other than that because it's too much work.
Yeah. Channels of communication.
Instagram is hard
need to be-
enough. Like, yeah.
Sure.
So, yeah, if you want to get a custom hammer, I'm open to making them. You just have to wait on my wait line. And they're a little more expensive because they're one-offs.
Because they're custom.
I mean, they're one-offs. It's
Yeah.
not production one. My hammers are cheap because I make a lot of them at once. So
Right.
I put 16 in the forge, so it's not small potatoes.
All right, we're leaving.
On that note,
Before we take off, I do want to plug one more thing.
what do we play?
We've got a bunch of new classes for 2024. They are pseudo up on the website.
I didn't know about this.
I'll be
I'm
at the
sorry.
Hammering.
You're good.
It's gonna be
Hammering coming up.
Be fantastic.
But there's a whole bunch of new classes on the website. The information is not up.
Did you
yet.
just scroll past what I think? Go back up.
Yeah.
Did that say Jason freaking Knight?
Yes, it does.
God.
Jason freaking Knight.
Let me tell you, brother.
He is such a gem of a human being.
I've never met him.
And apparently he also makes knives.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of guest instructors
What
coming
else
out.
you got?
I've talked to him like 3 times. He's the
I have
greatest
not
dude.
looked through it yet.
If you're interested in signing up for one of these classes, we need to know how many
Power
people to
hammer
expect.
fundamentals. Who's teaching that?
So sign up on the website, coleschool.com.
Kurt?
Yeah, Kurt's teaching a power hammer fundamentals class.
I might have to go to that.
Also a gem of a
I
human
might
being.
have to go to that because I want one of those power hammers.
Yeah. So lots of classes on there.
Zach,
Exciting
a
stuff.
great dude. Honestly, I'm super stoked at all the names I just saw on there.
Yeah, dude.
It's
It's a
quite
good
the
lineup.
roster.
Yeah.
It's got a killer
Well,
lineup.
guys, come take classes. Come get involved with what we're doing. Let us be involved with what you're doing, like we talked about on the last podcast. If you've got shows around us that you're hosting, we would love to come out, bring a couple pieces with us, just make the community bigger, make it more apt to do what we want to do, and be creative. So have a good time, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Dance your way out.
Don't dance.
Get it.
I've heard this song so many times I can't physically dance to it.
Did I hear on the last one you have to change it?
Yeah.
And you still have
It gets copyright strike every time.
Yeah.